Hey, Happy Trades! Happy Memorial Day. Man, I just gotta say it. This is just so weird. This is just so weird, man. I do this every day. All this weekend, I'm looking at Free Ross. Free Ross. If you guys saw this. All the libertarians were putting up signs that said Free Ross. Yeah, you can probably see it right there. Donald Trump said he's going to free Ross Ulbricht. And I swear on my life, I did not see Ross on this screen until I just pushed play. Just now. But when I saw the news and I saw why Ross Ulbricht was trending, and I saw Free Ross, right, once again, the name of a stock ticker in capital letters on TV, I was just like, wow. So I looked at Ross not because of the screen. We can see the institutions were interested in this, and it's up 7%. And it reported earnings last week. It's not the biggest, it's not the biggest conspiracy theory. It's not the biggest smoking gun. Free Ross, though. What's that mean? Free Ross? Let it run. Let Ross run. And people still ask, what this has to do with the stock market. What do you mean, what does this have to do with the stock market? Knowing who the real president is? Knowing that someone had a North Korean style dictator phase in 2019 and 2020 and signed a crazy long executive order on January 19th of 2021? Knowing that this guy, his lawyers have argued in court that he had presidential Q clearance as recently as June of 2023, and he could have only gotten that from this guy who was allegedly Joe Biden, even though it's pretty clear Joe Biden wears a mask over his face for some reason. Maybe he's just really self-conscious about how he looks, pup, so he wants to hide his wrinkles. Okay. I hope it's that. What does this have to do with the stock market? By the way, not the first time Donald Trump's told me an interesting stock ticker. And I told you guys about this one. Free Scott. Free Scott acted like he didn't know how to spell, randomly capitalizing Scott Free in the middle of his tweets. Scott's Miracle-Gro, and I told you guys right around here, this is how they're whistling Scott's Miracle-Gro. And I even mentioned another celebrity, also very famous, also known to be in the Satanic Church. And yes, Donald Trump is a member of the Satanic Church. Donald Trump is a high priest in the Satanic Church. That is what MAGA and MAGAs means. You can go look it up. Saying you are a member of MAGA is very much akin to saying you are a 33-degree Freemason. It is very much akin to saying you are the highest member and in the highest level of the satanic church. That is what MAGA means. Donald Trump has accredited things like Kabbalah to his success since he was a child. He had a Kabbalah teacher since he was a child. What does this have to do with the stock market? Are you crazy? Like, I don't know. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. I was going to talk about me in this video. Sometimes I feel like the questions I get, like, you guys are the patients. But I did want to talk about me a little bit. I didn't even mean to talk about Ross and Scott's Miracle Grow. I just couldn't believe it. Ross, I guess I couldn't believe it. I look at the screen a lot. I hadn't seen Ross on it. But I did look at Ross Saturday night. Saw free Ross. Once again, big tickers. Big ticker. Just right in front of you. So what's going on here? Well, if you were trying to form a cult, or if you were in a secret society, you could enrich people who have the same views as you. Why? Well, because no one's really ready to accept that free Ross or Donald Trump talking about getting off scot-free and capitalizing Scott, or the numerous other examples. I have so many examples of these, and by the way, if you're keeping track, these are the best hits. If you're keeping track, that's where we're at right now. These are the best hits. And really, it's only recently been very good for stocks this year. We've only recently had a big rally in late April. It was a stock picker's market for most of the year before that. And if you really look at the best performing stocks, I hate to say it, or I should say you guys hate to say it, a lot of them, almost all of them, the best performers came from screens like this. What's going on? You know, someone asked, like, what happened to puppy trays? They thought that I had a little bit of a breakdown, mental problem in March, February. Thought something might be wrong with me. What happened to him? Like I said, it's Memorial Day. People like me, we're too influential. Like, we can't help it. Like, I am the definition of a natural born leader. Like that's who I am. And some things just come naturally. Some people get out of the womb, they know how to dance. They know how to sing, man. They can just sing beautiful. They don't even try. And then those same people, they say they're afraid of stage fright. They got stage fright. Their biggest fears are public speaking. And I'm like, what? Y'all are the ones who can sing and dance. People don't like to do two things to me. They really don't like to apologize. I almost never get apologized to, ever. It is so rare. Like, when people actually wrong me, like, you never see an apology. Ever. The other thing they like to do, or the other thing they don't like to do, I lost my train of thought there. Because I didn't want to sound like a wussy. Say no one gives me credit for stuff. People give me credit for stuff. The point is that I'm extremely influential. I have been since I was a kid. When I was in 5th grade, I was told that I should, this is kind of dumb talking about 5th grade, kind of pathetic, right? But I was told I should pursue writing and radio for the rest of my life, and we took standardized tests, and we had all these dumb writing assignments, and I'd been in all the honors classes, and I was always in honors classes. So I thought it was dumb that I had to take the test every year. And so when I was in 5th grade, I had to take the writing test, and I was the best writer in the grade, or whatever, And so I wrote for my writing test. I was like, hey, if someone wants to be in this class, they want to be in the honors class, they want to challenge themselves, like, they should be able to do it. I personally think this entire process of, writing, IC test and standardized tests just to get into the English class. No, if someone wants to be in the good English class, they want to learn English, they want to challenge themselves, be surrounded by the smartest kids, and elevate with them, they should be able to. So that's what I wrote down. My English teacher was pissed, right? But still, no consequences. I mean, the assignment was that those essays were determining if you got to be in the honors class for the next year or not. So if I turned in a horrible essay, I shouldn't have been able to be in the honors class, right? And so that was my logic. I was like, hey, I turned in a crap essay. You just said it. I didn't do the assignment. Why am I still in the honors class? Take me down to, I want to be with my friends. All my friends were in the dumb classes. I want to be with them. They're like, no, can't do that, man. I've just been told my whole life, radio and writing. That's your calling. Do it. You influence people. And honestly, I can't help it. It's been a currency. It became a currency when I was a child. And it's still a currency to this day. My ability to influence people is a currency. It's a big currency. Do you understand that? I'm what's called a thought leader. Businesses, companies, look at this. Do you think these people are stupid? Why the hell do they follow me? Is this crazy? Yield Max ETFs follows me. They only follow 7 people. I'm one of the 7 people. Ziga Financial follows me. I mean, this is kind of insane. This is pretty insane. I didn't know this. Ziga Financial follows me. Who is this guy? Holy crap! What? The CIO of Tidal follows my Twitter account? And he's a crypto baggy? I'm just kidding. Whoa! Oh, man. Yo, what? Woo! I'm in the Illuminati. Oh, fuck. I got the CIO of Tidal following me. Holy crap. Oh, damn. Yeah, I thought it was cool Yield Max followed me. That's pretty sweet. Yo, what? Anyway, I'm a really influential guy. My influence became a currency when I was a kid. If you know, because teachers they got problems with the guy who's talking, the guy who's sociable, but I was really smart. Like I was getting straight A's, so they couldn't really say I was like the class clown, but I was the class clown getting straight A's, so they couldn't really like say anything to me. And then sometimes like teachers would get kind of like pissed, right? And so they'd say, all right, you got to be quiet now, and I'd be like, okay. I just stopped talking, and guess what happens when I stop talking? Whole class stops talking. Teachers talking to ghost. They're talking to air. No one's answering. No one's saying anything. Why? Because I'm leading the conversation. I'm running the conversation. I am the conversation. So finally, the teacher, even if they thought I back talked too much or I was a smart aleck or whatever, they'd say, all right, all right, all right. What do you think about this? I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure you want, yeah, come on. So it became a currency. Whenever I wanted something or whenever I wasn't getting my way, I just shut up. It's a really weird thing to be someone who shuts up when they want to get something they want. It's odd. Most people speak. They're normally quiet and they're really defiant when they want something. Me, it's the opposite. I'm always oops. I'm always an extrovert. I'm always sociable. That's my natural state. I'm swimming against the current to, sit crisscross applesauce and say kumbaya. So my influence became a currency, is the idea that I'm trying to put into your heads. Why does that matter? Why do people like Sunrise Trader and Yield Max ETFs and the CIO of Tidal risk their reputations by following me, knowing I tweet pretty controversial stuff? It's because I'm a thought leader. And those three people aren't the only people to realize this. I've talked a lot about on my page a group of people called friendly esoteric dudes. If you have an IQ over 70, you should know what I'm meaning when I say friendly esoteric dudes. But keep in the back of your mind this whole time, my value is an influential person having an actual currency. Because this was something a large group was aware of for a long time. And in 2022, 2023, 2021, they were still quite aware of this. And in 2023, they reached out to me. In 2022, actually, they reached out to me, late 2022. Why? People like me, people like Free to Find Truth, Zachary K. Hubbard, maybe people like this guy. We are called gatekeepers of the truth community. Yes, if you haven't figured it out right now, The government wants some people, certain people in the society, to be quote unquote woke. They want some people to experiment a little bit, meet some friends in college, meet some girlfriends after college. Why? You'd be suspicious of someone who was the leader of the army, the leader of the navy. You'd be suspicious of someone who was way high up in a federal organization. That's why I believe this woman I know her I don't know if she has a Twitter. I know for a fact her Instagram bio says that she's an undercover Fed, in quotes. What was she talking about? What did everyone say this woman was talking about, by the way? They said that thing's not real. A lot of people thought she was talking about aliens. And that's what she saw on this airplane. Oh, haha, pup, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I predicted that aliens would be the scapegoat for all these problems with airplanes. I said on March 11th, Part 3 draft, I start talking about the aliens that will be used as the scapegoat for all the problems with airplanes and blackouts, and that's why I'm bullish all these space stocks, and explain how I know, and also some 5G stocks, and explain how I know this episode of The Simpsons will come true in real life. Airplanes and aliens, and then what do you know? We've got some official stories from News Nation that are commented on by the FAA about UFOs outside of the LaGuardia Airport. And this was in April of 2026. And I believe this instance was a few weeks before March 25th. So we've been hearing about lots of problems with airplanes in 2024. And I made the crazy statement, they're going to blame these airplane problems on aliens. That must have been a lucky guess, pup. All right. Yeah, that must have been a lucky guess. The FAA is commenting on aliens at the LaGuardia Airport. Like I said, the FAA would be commenting on aliens very soon. That must be a coincidence, though. Remember, my influence is a currency. And I learned that a long time ago. Me and Zachary K. Hubbard, right now, are believed to be probably the two most influential people in the truth community in terms of how much respect we have, how organic our follower base is, and how loyal you guys are to us. I'm serious. I get told so often that I have a cult-like following, that my, all these influencers would do anything to get the likes to views ratios that I have. Even as I lose Twitter followers for tweeting stuff, my views never go down. My views never go down. They only go up. I can tweet literally anything and get 2,000, 3,000 views after a week, minimum. I've been accused of having paid followers, bot followers, buying these programs, all this stuff. None of it. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know who I have to thank. Y'all like me. And the people running the show know that. The people running the show knew something very important. If I told you that I legitimately thought all of these problems that we're having in 2024 were caused by aliens, that you would believe me. They knew that. Think about that. You really think this whole alien thing is just some joke? Really? You think trillions of dollars from Hollywood to the U.S. government agencies themselves researching and promoting aliens and sharing that information with the public, pretending the government wants to hide it, but then having truthers, share the real story? You really think that's just some joke? You really think that at no point in your life, if you're under the age of 40 or 30, you're going to hear this alien story come back to haunt you? The government's just going to forget about this? There have been so many CIA agents, so many former FBI and CIA agents who have risked their careers and reputations to go on mainstream shows, including Logan Paul's show. I thought this was so crazy. An actual former high-up member of the CIA went on Logan Paul's show and talked about Project Bluebeam and this fake alien invasion. Numerous people with CIA credentials that they show talk about how they were in the CIA last decade. They know this alien thing is coming. They know. Just like how I was told by someone who worked at IBM for 2 or 3 decades in college, blockchain is coming. It is not some theory. IBM, Amazon, and Microsoft decided that blockchain is coming. Amazon already decided they want Amazon Go to be in every single Whole Foods. I was told that by someone who worked at IBM for 2 decades in college. That helped fund my Bitcoin thesis. That's one of the reasons I made sure I shared all that information with you guys. I had a member of IBM tell me blatantly, look at the patents, fool. They've already decided they're going to do this. They're going to need to plan something so that you think cash spreads a disease, so we can push this cashless society. Oh, really? Just like a marketing professor told me every single marketer's dream was to have the company's logo on someone's face. And then a few years later, we had people wearing company logos on their faces with masks. So my influence, very important. Monetary value, big money value. You guys don't think about marketing. You don't think about any of that stuff. How I influenced you coming into 2024 was something that had a very high dollar amount value. It had a very high dollar amount value. And what I want you to know, extremely great length that I literally cannot talk about And by literally, I mean a different word that starts with L. I literally can't talk about this too specifically. A grave amount of money was at hand for me to tell you guys what this guy is telling his followers. So in my last video, I talked to you guys about my experience with the winter storms in Texas, Dallas, Texas, in 2021. So this guy, there was actually a major storm in the Dallas, Texas area this weekend. I'm sure you heard about it. Major tornadoes in Valley View, Texas. Let's look what this guy said. ZT followers, Zeta Talk followers, watch X, Planet X, aka Nibiru. We are living in biblical times. Huh? Texas hailstorm today. The atmosphere is being disturbed because of earth changes due to the approach of Nibiru, Planet X. Huh? These are not man-made events. They're not weather wars. And they're not caused by HARP and not by frequencies. Huh? I thought this was a truther account. He's saying HARP isn't causing this? Frequencies aren't causing this? This is why we need Zachary K. Hubbard on our team. Because he wouldn't say this shit. He wouldn't sell us out like this. He wouldn't say this shit. And that matters. These are not man-made events. They're not weather wars. And they're not HARP. They're not frequencies. They're not caused by sunspots or CMEs. They're not caused by magnetism. Nothing can stop what is coming. By the way, this is a catchphrase and quote commonly recited by Donald Trump's cult. Yes, Donald Trump has a cult. And if you think that the MAGA Patriot cult is some fool wearing a horn costume at the Capitol, some old lady going into the Capitol, or some kid yelling at a Native American in front of the Capitol, you're a fool. You have been sold Kool-Aid and you are drinking it and you are about to die because of that. You're about to have cyanide poisoning because you believe something so stupid as to believe that the MAGA Patriots are some innocent, dumb little cult. The MAGA Patriots are like if Charles Manson and Jim Jones and Heaven's Gate had a baby and then bred that baby with a super god. The MAGA Patriots are a satanic cult. And numerous friendly, esoteric dudes, and I know this because I was offered money to tell you guys that all of this stuff was caused by aliens from planet Nibiru. I was offered money, large amounts of money, to tell you that I thought everything that was going on was caused by aliens from planet Nibiru. But you still think this is just some whatever hocus pocus. These are not man-made events. They're not weather wars. They're not HARP. They're not frequencies. They're not caused by sunspots or CMEs. They're not magnetism. Nothing can stop what is coming. A MAGA Patriot cult, quote. I infiltrated this cult. He even tags the account Q the Storm. He tags another friendly esoteric dude account called Q the Storm. Revelation and hailstones weighing almost 100 pounds each rained down on them from above, and men cursed God for the plague of hail because it was so horrendous. So they're using the Bible and they're trying to say that God is actually a reptilian alien force, i.e., God is a reptilian serpent alien, i.e., God is Satan. Exactly what the Bible says, that Satan is the God of this earth. God is the God of the world, the heavens, everything outside of that. But in the New Testament, it says Satan has infiltrated everything so closely. He is the God of this world. They're not man-made events. They're not weather wars. They're not HARP. They're not frequencies. They're not sunspots caused by CMEs. They're not magnetism. Nothing can stop what is coming. So I told you that I thought the winter storm in 2021 in Texas was caused by HARP, by man-made events. But what I'm telling you, and the whole purpose of this video, is that you are going to be told climate change and everything happening with aliens is part of something called an alien invasion by aliens from planet Nibiru. And the whole world is about to be shown pictures like this, where you can see a small little ball up there next to the sun. People don't understand chemtrails or how powerful the U.S. Air Force and government is with their planes. They're going to be shown this, where it looks like there's a little planet right next to the sun. And all of these friendly esoteric dudes have millions and billions of people drinking the Kool-Aid. So I'm here to tell you, you are going to have your toilet paper moment. It will either be the Cascadia Subduction Zone earthquake, which is scheduled to take place on June 11th. 7/11 is also a very hot date. And another very hot date is August 5th to August 14th of this summer. It needs to take place during a leap year because June 11th is the 163rd day of a leap year, and only during a leap year. You're going to be told all of the problems with airplanes, all of the future problems with airplanes. Yes, there will be a major airplane crash where it just crashes into the ground, all the people die. You're going to be told that was caused by aliens from planet Nibiru, and maybe even there will be a black smoke cloud, a nuclear cloud over a major U.S. city. At first, they will tell you that was probably an attack by Iran or Russia, but then they will tell you it was actually caused by aliens from planet Nibiru. This was an extremely expensive, extremely thought out plan, and I was almost a part of it. A lot of money was spent trying to get me to tell you guys that this was caused by aliens. And I can get into further of why it's so dangerous to believe this in future videos. But let's just get back to some charts for a little bit. Let's talk about some of these stocks related to aliens. This stock, I just thought had a really pretty count. I noticed it's a married put, so I won't talk about it. But let's look at TAN, and let's look at ICLN, because I'll tell you something. Let's look at the options activity. TAN, 209% unusual options volume, and they bought a massive straddle or strangle. We can see what they bought by going right here. 7,000 puts bought for next week, paired with calls that are spread out over quite a few expirations. The biggest expiration, it looks like they bought a massive amount of puts for next week to hedge these 45 strike puts way out of the money, and they're using all that delta, that negative 18 delta per contract, to hedge this position, which is the real position, a massive amount of calls for June. So we can see they're using those short dated options to get lots of delta and lots of gamma, and they're using it to hedge their real position. Looks like it's a little further out of the money. Let's look at tan real quick. I've already got this charted up, but let's look at some time fibs for a little bit and some Fibonacci ratios. Looking at the weekly chart, this entire rally from this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up is a large wave 1. Notice the RSI, the highest high within this wave 1 is smaller, wave 2, than the highest high within this rally. Whether this rally is a wave 3 or a wave 4, it appears that a wave 5 has not, whether this rally is a wave 3 or another wave 1 and another wave 2, this rally is most likely not a large wave 5 because it makes the highest high on the weekly RSI, i.e. eventually when this base is rounded out, a new high is expected to be made at some point. So we have this large wave 1, this ABC wave 2 correction at the 100% extension, and then look at Tan's time fibs. We connect the beginning of wave 1 with the high of wave 1, and we see this 5-week time fib is coming up, ready for this explosive move. I suspect when this 5-week time fib is hit, and during this period, we are going to see a long-term, very bullish cycle for the solar energy stocks until this time fib, the 8th time fib, February 8th of 2027. There's a lot of leading evidence from First Solar, and there's a lot of, look at that. One of the most perfect hits I've ever had, but this is just casual on my page. Casual. First Solar leading the clean energy stocks. The big theory is that BRICS is trying to attack the dollar, but Donald Trump, he's so smart, he already put all of the silver that BRICS would need to attack the US dollar. He took all of that silver and he put it into solar panels. So we see First Solar exploding out of nowhere, just like I projected, beginning a parabolic move. In phase energy now, I suspect is going to follow. I'm long in phase energy. I believe this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, wave 1, wave A wave 2, wave B, that ended between the 61 to 78.6% retracement. And then from this low, I believe this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. This is another wave 1 and another wave 2. So wave 3 of wave 3 is in progress. I think this low of 110.67 is nice. That low of 93.52 is a little wide, but I'm going to keep holding in phase energy. I might add some tan a little bit. Let's look at ICLN. They took a pretty biased position to the bull side here, but we're going to talk about what some of these, let's just talk about what a straddle or a married put on ICLN would look like. I just want to get these numbers down because I think that this is going to be a good example of a straddle. So yeah, this is perfect. So a married put on ICLN would look something like this, or a straddle on ICLN would look something like this. The 102, that's not the best, most liquid. Let's try the end of the year. The 143 call, this call, the 15 strike call, is $143. It's paired with the 15 strike puts, which is between $125 to $150. So this is a little less liquid. Yeah, this is a little less liquid of an expiration. Maybe we can see one ICLN that's a little more liquid for these puts. Yeah, this one looks okay. 5,072 open interest. So let's say that this put, the 14 strike put for January of 2026 could be bought for $180. That would have a delta of negative 33. That means 33 shares of ICLN could be bought for a total of $14.92 per share, and that would be a delta neutral position. I suspect if that 14 put was paired with those 33 shares of ICLN, that delta neutral position by 2026 would be quite positive. Other ways would be actually finding the more liquid strikes. The 719 strike is a little close, but that delta neutral position would look like the 14 strike put is bought, and it's paired with 24 shares at $14.92, much lower cost basis, but a shorter time horizon for the put. But since it's a Mary put, only the put is bought. It's not a straddle. If it were a straddle, what would a straddle look like? Let's try this end of year straddle. This 15 strike straddle, the $143 call for the 15 strike is paired with, it looks like this 15 strike, the last was bought for 150. So 150 plus 143, almost a $300 straddle. So ICLN would have to move $4 or $5 for that straddle to be in profit. So we saw the MMs were actually taking a bull bias position on ICLN. I want to look at it right now and just kind of show what the time fibs are going to be. Then we can kind of circle back all around. I mean, even within this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up that end with momentum divergence. We have an A, B, C correction, and then a wave 3 of wave 3 appears to be beginning. Looking at these time fibs again, large wave 1, large wave 2. From this low, I get on the weekly, we see once again the highest high on the weekly RSI within the entire cycle is made at this high. So I'm going to take these time fibs, I'm going to connect the beginning of wave 1 with the high of wave 1, and we're going to see, boom, we just hit that 5-week time fib. I'm looking for a bull rally to be in progress until the 8-week time fib, which is August of 2026. So that's going to give a time frame and a price range. And I'm looking for 12.85 to not get broken. For tan, it's a little wide, but I'm looking for, and that's why they're buying straddles and strangles on this. I'm looking for this low of 38.83 to not get broken. I think the time fibs are very clear. We're going to see tan break into a wave 3. Look at ICLN right here. Beautiful, even on the monthly. The monthly beginning at the beginning of wave 1 with the high of wave 1. Boom, we're at that monthly 5-week time fib, 5-month time fib. We get this big reversal. Once again, I expect until October of 2026, we're going to see a large rally in the clean energy sector, ICLN and TAN and in-phase energy. I expect to follow First Solar, and I expect each of these stocks to begin rallies. But what I also suspect in the back of my heart is that if the truth community is not vigilant and we continue to kind of just be ignorant to ideas like, friendly esoteric dudes sharing theories about aliens and planet Nibiru, we're gonna have our toilet paper moment. There's gonna be an earthquake, or there's gonna be, a black sky event, some mushroom cloud over a city, or there's gonna be just alien aircraft over cities themselves. We're gonna have our toilet paper moment. Hundreds and thousands of millions of dollars have been spent so that people like me and people like this guy would convince you what happens to Tan and ICLN are caused by aliens from planet Nibiru. I did not drink the Kool-Aid, but I was told to serve you the Kool-Aid. And I'm telling you, this is a very important hill not to die on, but to live on. Because there's going to be an alien invasion. And if you're on the wrong side of this, your dumbass might just get abducted. Cue the storm.